Hey, good morning. Welcome to the Stahls TV Morning Show. We're already having so much fun here, and you're just joining us.
It's the best day of my life.
Okay.
Almost.
Weird, but okay. So if you're watching and you're on Facebook Live, actually, if you're watching any other way, congratulations. We don't know where you're at. So type in where you are watching from. We'd love to hear from you, and if you have any comments or questions throughout the show, we'd be happy to answer those.
By the way, this is Zach.
Oh, I'm Zach, yo.
I'm Bob, yo.
This is Bob.
We're the Yo family.
I forgot. All right, we got someone watching from Tennessee. Welcome. Welcome. So today's discussion is getting started with team uniforms. But before we get into that, we'll do our normal
Look of the week.
announcements.
Look of the week, submitted by Stephanie, we're going to say Boder, could be Bader, we're not sure. But either way, Stephanie did a great job utilizing patterns, believe it or not.
I would have never guessed that that was a
Right.
pattern.
Right. When you think patterns, you think all the cutesy little flowers and crazy animal prints and things like this. But this was used our gradient section and did a really cutting edge look here for this football team.
Right, yeah. We typically see patterns being used on monograms or something for a female audience.
Yep.
And this is a really cool way to use it to sell it to the dudes.
Boys wear patterns too.
Like it. All right, so we have some watchers from South Carolina, North Carolina, Southern California, and Canada. And Tennessee. I think we have 2 Tennessee
Welcome.
watchers.
Welcome.
Welcome, bienvenue, come in. If you would like to submit to be part, of the Look of the Week, submit to
Bilingual.
Stahls Show and Tell, which happens every Saturday here on Facebook, and you can also tag us on Instagram at Stahls Heat Printing. So we comb through those every Monday morning, choose one Look of the Week to be featured on the morning show. All you win is our recognition and our thanks.
That's almost like a car.
All right, announcements, let's go.
Announcements coming up. We're heading to ISS Orlando coming up September 5th through the 7th. If you are anywhere in the area nearby, come down and see us.
Are you going to that show?
I am. As a matter of fact, I'm part of the education there. Actually, the day before the show on Wednesday, there's a half-day workshop. So if you're interested in learning more about heat printing, it's a great way to get started there. Also, 2 other education, one on about the generally what you can make with the heat press, and another one about the top trends for 2020.
Can you give us a sneak peek and
I cannot.
share one of the top trends?
I will not. Because I don't
You gotta-
remember them.
Oh, okay. I guess you have to fly to Florida.
Yep.
Nobody on the list has been from Florida yet. We see Portland and St. Louis on the freeway somewhere in San Diego.
Okay.
All right, Eddie.
All right.
Drive safe.
Stay focused, bud.
Yeah, please.
All righty.
All right, and what else is going on besides these trade shows? How else can someone come see us?
Well, Workshop Wednesday in all of our locations coming up on September 25th. We have HTV 101 and 201 in both our Ohio and Florida locations. And if you are any place else other than that, including Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, California, and Texas, we will have Workshop Wednesday on the 25th with the Roland Vinyl Cutter Boot Camp. And then the next day for the Graph Tech. It's not a Wednesday, but it's still, principle applies.
Principal.
Yep.
Evelyn's from Orlando.
Hey.
Are you coming to the show, Evelyn? Let us know when you have a minute.
He yelled so she could actually hear, and like she was going to yell back.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Pop up.
Yep.
All right. You ready to get started?
Let's do this.
Sure.
I'm digging in.
So our discussion today is about getting started with team uniforms. Now, we know that if you're getting started with football uniforms, you're starting too late because 2-a-days, 3-a-days have been happening. First games are coming up this weekend in a lot of places if they haven't happened already. However, maybe you have a heat press and you've been making t-shirts or doing something else. Is team uniforms for you? We hope to be able to answer that question for you and then also give you some tips on how to get started.
Yep.
Okay, so what is the first thing to think about when you're thinking about getting into team uniform decoration, in your opinion?
I think you have to look at the different levels of sports, whether it be the real basic rec leagues, kind of the low budget rec leagues, to something a little more intermediate, to whether it be high school sports, and or even above that, like some of the travel leagues, and or even some college if you've got the opportunity. So those are, you have to decide which way you want to go. It's not to say you can't do them all, but as far as when you're breaking into it, I think you have to kind of target your market a little bit so that you feel comfortable, first of all, doing the actual decoration. And then where is the market? Who's been asking you? You started doing this for a reason, so that may lead you directly to where you're supposed to be heading.
Do you think it's possible, well, how likely is it for a beginner to be able to make money at any one of those, and one of those levels?
It's all possible. You have to look at your competition. How many, maybe you're not even going there because there's already 6 decorators doing the exact same thing, and you're going to have to try to steal their business rather than fill a void where there was a real need, where people have to travel so far. Or you're picking up the slack where somebody just dropped the ball, and it happens. Where somebody failed miserably, and then the school said, "We're so done with these guys. Are you willing to do this?" Heck yeah. And
Yeah, we've heard, I know personally, just talking to people, I've heard lots of stories about that. Like, how do you create the opportunity with any one of these team sports groups? And typically what happens is, one, you have a kid or a relative or something on one of the teams that gives you the opportunity to talk to the right people, because finding the right person to do the ordering of the uniforms can be different depending on how the league is structured or who's in charge or who handles the money. And then also we hear a lot of stories about folks getting in somewhere because the person last year really did a poor job. And typically that's on delivery.
Yeah, generally speaking. So yeah, networking is huge. As far as, like I said, there's always a connection, one way or the other. Getting your name out there. You may have to start off a little bit more competitive than you'd like just to get established, but that's any real startup business. But don't stay there. It's not, get them started, but you don't keep your prices too low, because we are all here to turn a profit.
And then if you were choosing one level to go after, just your opinion, which one would it be? So knowing you're an experienced decorator.
Okay, if I'm an experienced decorator, I would probably forego the very low end, because they all have budgets, and God bless the rec leagues and the little leagues and things out there, but they're almost providing a service, and so there's not a whole lot of budget there. So I would at least start at the intermediate level, try to get something a little more like an actual uniform more than just a t-shirt, because there's a more perceived higher value of those, and if you do a good job doing the decoration, you establish yourself as a professional uniform decorator, not just somebody who put a number on a t-shirt.
Okay.
That's me.
All right. I can buy that.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's all I got.
All right. So, so we said there's different levels, obviously, to sports, from recreational all the way up to professional. Let's say we have our target because we have our in to make a sale, and we think that we're going to be able to make money on that based on previous pricing or whatever it is that we find out. Where do we start with sourcing the actual base uniform or shirt?
Well, everything short of the super high-end professional jerseys can be found in a lot of the basic apparel wholesale supply houses.
Okay.
What I've just not recently discovered, they've been in forever, is Augusta. Augusta Sportswear has been, they've always offered the nice low end and slightly intermediate, but I'm looking at their site now, they have a lot of the higher end type actual braid trim jerseys that are do a nice job, that really compete with some of the higher end Nikes and Reeboks and Adidas, et cetera. So I like them. I like them as a good all around, and they're also a great place to get your basic T-shirts. Say Sanmar, Augusta. Good news is those are both part of Transfer Express's apparel offering. So you can, if you've got a Transfer Express account, you're already connected.
Yeah, and then one of the biggest surprises that I think decorators will run into as they begin to research the space is when you get into some of those higher level AAU teams that are either sponsored by one of the major shoe brands, or at least want to look like they're sponsored by one of the major shoe brands. It's difficult to be able to get approved to order and decorate that licensed or branded apparel, and significantly more expensive. They only,
Correct.
from my understanding, they only license a certain amount of people in a certain area to where they're protecting their decorators.
Right.
So to get started decorating Adidas uniforms probably wouldn't really be the way that we would recommend to go, unless you have it in there with a rep or know the process from previous experience.
But you are able to duplicate it and be kind of the next best thing at a much more affordable price range.
Okay, so we said if you're going to be decorating rec leagues, t-shirts, you can go to pretty much any blank supplier that you may be using, Sanmar, Alpha Broder, SNS, you name it. You can pick up inexpensive t-shirts there. If you're going to be a step up but still affordable, Augusta Sportswear is one of the places that we recommend. And you can find Augusta Sportswear if you don't have an account at transferexpress.com. So if you visit transferexpress.com, you can take a look at their uniform selection for Augusta. And then if you want to get the legit high-end branded uniforms, it's going to require a little bit of research on who's already licensed in your area, and if you can kind of make your way in there, it's a little bit more difficult sell.
Correct.
So we have the league type that we're going after.
Yep.
We have the base uniform that they're going to want decorated. How do we know what to decorate those uniforms with?
We can fix that. So, can we go to our computer, Joe? This is taken from our team decorator document that can be found on, we'll show it, give you a link to that here in just a little bit. But starting our flagship product, Thermofilm. When you think sports, you think Stahls, you think Thermofilm, because it's been our flagship product forever. The reason it has been so popular for so many years is that, one, it's very durable, very abrasion resistant. So anytime you're looking at a contact sport like football or hockey or lacrosse, where people are going to be beating each other up pretty good, you want to use the Thermofilm because, again, abrasion resistant, and it also helps inhibit dye migration. So if I had a red jersey and put a white number on there, the chances of that turning pink are almost nil. So that's what we're looking for there. So that is our flagship. Now, when you contrast that, if I'm going onto, say, a basic T-shirt, it might be a little bit heavy, might be a little thick, and actually a little bit more than what you need to spend because there's more affordable options than the Thermofilm. But contact sports, go Thermofilm, especially if you want to maintain your reputation as having a very durable product that they're not going to have to, replace shortly. Next step down, I would say Premium Plus. If you're talking basketball, baseball, any of those, especially the ones that have the little more delicate type of polyester that have the potential to scorch, you get that heat press mark that's actually too much heat. Premium Plus is awesome because it applies at such a low temperature, as low as 280 degrees. So that gives you the low temp application, and the stretch and rebound is exceptional. It really gives with the fabric. And of course, even from a fashion standpoint, not that it's that important, but it's super soft hand and very silky. Very smooth.
If your jersey weight is going down, Premium Plus goes down in total weight of the product. Thermofilm's what, about twice as thick?
Pretty close to that,
Premium Plus. Yeah, so it's more your performance fabric.
Yeah, and they all come in the standard sports colors and some additional ones as well. Gets into some fashion there as well.
T-shirts?
T-shirts, basic T-shirts. Fashion film's an excellent way to go. One reason is because it has more colors than you can imagine. So if you're really trying to match a color for a school team, something like that, then you've got a better shot at hitting that color because there's like 50 some standard colors available in fashion film alone. Super easy to use, hot peel. Doing 2 colors of breeze because you can tack it and peel it and then put the second layer on top of it as well. So nice affordable way to go. If you're already decorating, you probably already have a room full of it because it is one of our best sellers.
Okay. And then when you are looking at those rec leagues, typically you can standardize on white and black, right, to get started.
Absolutely. Yeah. When I sold to Little League teams, I offered 2 colors of vinyl, of heat transfer vinyl. If it was a light jersey, they got black. If it was a dark jersey, they got white, and they were happy with it. All they really cared about was getting their kids personalized and maybe supporting the sponsor that each team was sponsored by.
Okay, so let's say we're talking to a league or an organization that really wants something higher end. I know a lot of the travel leagues will have multiple teams, so they'll have your A team, which maybe travels the country, your B team travels a region, and your C team kind of stays local. So let's talk A team. Want to look our absolute best on the field. What's the best authentic look that we
if you're
can
trying to duplicate what the pros wear, the pros are still using, for the most part, applique twill that has been sewn on, and sometimes multiple layers. So we have a product called SimStitch that is it is a permanent twill that does not require sewing at all because we've used a laser to etch a simulated stitch around the outside. So you can now actually get that same look, and you'd have to get almost up to it and touch it to really realize that it wasn't actually sewn on. But there's no real labor there as far as and time spent on investment using an embroidery machine or a manual sewer if those still exist.
Yeah, and I don't know that we have a picture of it. So SimStitch is really good for that, especially in a one color application. If you're looking for multiple color applications, the product that's actually going on a lot of the professional jerseys that you would buy in a store is a sublimated twill as well. So you can check out CAD Prints. Is it just called CAD Print Sublimated Twill?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah, so if you check out Stahls CAD Print Sublimated Twill, that is a product that is going on to items that are being sold in stores. So if you go out and you buy the LeBron James swingman jersey for the Lakers, it's a sublimated twill product
Right.
that you're actually going to get from Nike.
Right. It gives the impression of multiple layers, but there's only one layer of twill with the colors all done with sublimation.
All right, so we have the base uniforms. We know the leagues we're going after. We know the finishes that are going to work best on different uniform types. So I get my materials in. How do I know where to put something, how to size a number, those types of things?
Yep. Same document that we looked at before, the team decorator. At the very beginning, it'll be in there by sport. And once we get onto the screen here, we'll show you. We'll start with volleyball. But if you, there we go. So this particular one, if you look to the left side of your screen, it'll give you what size the numbers should be, numbers and names should be, whether it be youth or adult. And these are suggested or somewhat recommended. Of course, always check with the school or the organization because they may have some very specific regulations that which you need to adhere to. So, but this is if you have no clue and you need something to get you started, and then now you can be the authority and let your customer know, here's what we recommend. Do you have something other than this? And they go, nope, that's fine. You're golden. Now you look like you knew what you were doing.
And you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, this says Sabatini says. What does that mean?
Paul Sabatini is the guy who put this all together. He's been with us forever. He knows everything there is to know about the shrimping business. I mean, about sports.
Oh,
He knows all about sports, and so he's put this killer document together of every sport, everything's recommended, and even the number styles you see on the bottom right there. These are some of the recommended styles for that particular sport. And it goes through every sport. There's volleyball, football, baseball, lacrosse. It just keeps going all the way through. So it's a great document. If you look, Joe, can you give us that link? There you go. Stahls.com/sports-uniform-decorating-price guide. The best thing is just put your phone up on that cute.
except the guy on the freeway.
No,
Not
guy on
the
the
guy
freeway. Do not do that.
Don't do that.
Do not do that.
Do not do
Yeah,
that.
But you can find
scan
us there.
that.
You can
Yeah.
scan that, and all this will come up for you. You give you an opportunity. If you're not already a Stahls customer, then you can register there, and then you'll get your download for free.
Okay, so a lot of information so far.
Lots of it.
We have more.
We do.
We have so much more. So if you noticed on that volleyball slide at the bottom, it was telling us that the numbers and the names were available either pre-cut or pre-spaced. And then that's ordering direct from Stahls. What about if you already have a vinyl cutter and you want to cut it yourself? How do I know which products to order? So you told me fashion film for t-shirts. You told me premium plus for performance wear. I can order a pre-cut. I can order a pre-space. I can do some of it myself. I can do all of it myself. How do I know?
I don't know.
How do I know?
Let me tell you. Okay, so the most cost-effective way is, say I'm just doing a standard 8-inch number. Standard 8-inch number, and that's all I need. Hopefully they're all single digits. That's so much better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you can save yourself money there too, just tell you, we're going to do 1 through 10 kids. That's what you're getting, deal with it. Or they pick their own numbers. Either way, you can buy die cut numbers. Now we call these die cuts because they actually are cut with like a big hydraulic cookie cutter. So you've got this stack of this multiple layers of, this happens to be thermofilm, and it's laid into a pile, and they cut this particular number 3 out with a cutter. And somebody just peels away the excess, and they're sold in packs of 10. So you got a 10 pack of numbers here. This is the most cost-effective way to buy an 8-inch or any size number that's available. So difference there is you need to lay them out individually. So I need to take if I'm doing number 33, then I have to put down this 3, I have to put this 3, keep the spacing right, make sure that they're the right distance apart and different height, all those different things available. Still the cheapest way. They also sell letters individually, which I don't have an example here because I refuse. Because it makes me crazy to take letters and try to line them up and hope that I don't make a 3 out of an E and turn one upside down or get them spaced properly. We have tools for all that, helps you out.
If that's how you want to do it.
If that's how you want to do it, yeah, eventually you'll run out of resources as far as time goes, getting it done, because it'll take too long to get one together. So you have the option to buy a pre-spaced player name, very similar to this one. This happens to be just a little 2-inch name for a Little League, Youth League, or something like that. So you can buy these, and this is why I do recommend this. These are already pre-spaced, they're already kerned properly, they've got the exact spacing between every letter, they're all aligned. All I do is take this and place it on a shirt, press it, peel it, and done. There's another way, which is called,
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I know, it's called Player Perfect. This is kind of as if you did it yourself and cut your whole name. This happens to be a team name and a number under it. This is Player Perfect. So this is the lazy way to go. But if you have more resources as far as other than time, if time is your least resource, then this is the way to go because there's less time like the heat press with this. I'm literally just, we're actually going to press this one a little bit later. I just lay it on the shirt exactly the way it should be, press it and peel it, and I know that I've got it laid out properly. Now this puts all the burden on the art guy, whoever's creating the file, to cut these to get the right name with the right number and the right size, et cetera. So 3 ways that way, aside from cutting yourself. To me, the most cost-effective, the kind of the sweet spot is die-cut numbers with a pre-spaced name. That seems to be the sweet spot as far as not taking so long to get done, because all that time is involved in the lettering itself. So putting down just a simple number and placing a pre-cut name over it seems to be the sweet spot. We have another document here Joe's going to flip to. Again, found right on Stahls.com. Maybe you can walk them through that because I can't see it very well.
Oh,
Please.
old man eyes.
Yeah, old man
That's
eyes.
okay.
That's what they call me.
So what this document is 5 ways to decorate jerseys. And the first one that you're looking at is pre-cut letters and numbers. So when we say pre-cut, that would be what would also be called die cut, right? So those are the separate letters and numbers, and we're laying everything out at the press. You can see the real advantage to doing it this way is it is the most cost-effective way. So for your average size name with a double-digit number, you're paying about $1.17 to decorate that way in materials.
It's the most cost-effective per material.
Per material,
Yeah,
right.
if you start adding your labor in there, I question it. But go ahead.
Yes. So then you also have pre-cut numbers, which again is these die cuts that we looked at, and a pre-spaced text. And you can see it's noted as the best overall method. It saves you time in layout. The name comes pre-aligned. Your cost, on average, is about $2.35 to decorate that. Again, this is just material cost and doesn't take your labor into consideration. Then there's Player Perfect, which was the third item that Bob showed to you and the one that we will be applying, and that is a pre-spaced name and pre-spaced number all together on the same sheet. So all you have to do is lay it down and apply it, and that's $3.55 for the names and numbers. And then the next two are more like special effect finishes, the upper level, the sim stitch, as well as digital number effects, which would be kind of the pattern that we showed as our look of the week. You could achieve something like that.
Correct. And there is one more way, as you mentioned. If you have your own vinyl cutter, you are able to do all of these. So ultimately, this is what you're looking for, because if you're going to take the time to cut and weed, then you're going to want to really minimize the time at the heat press, because you've already spent a good bit of time as far as labor goes. Cost effectively, it is still very cost effective, because you're looking at on the average a penny to penny and a half a square inch. So you have to do the math as to how much you have in material on this. Now we have to think about labor. How long is it taking me to produce this? So it's your call. You can look at all of these different options. But the nice thing having a vinyl cutter is I can get one instantly done right now. It's the last minute when there's a game in 2 hours and my boy doesn't have a name on the back of his jersey. You're able to service a customer very nicely that way. Or a lot of folks are doing it. I'm not saying it's a wrong way to go to cut your own, because there's a ton of people out there doing it.
Yeah. So there's one kind of caveat to all of this. Everything that we've showed you, besides the digital player effects, is single color names and numbers.
Correct.
What if your league wants multicolor? Typically, it's a single color name and then multicolor numbers would be a way that a league would want to go, just kind of as a step up to differentiate a little bit. So how would you recommend handling multicolor numbers?
Well, you're able to order and or cut your own. You can do as many layers as you want. Just know that if you are doubling and tripling and quadrupling your efforts every time you add a layer, because it is done in layers. So there's just as much time in cutting, weeding, pressing per layer. So you're increasing your price exponentially from there. However, there is another option. Transfer Express has a great number system, individual number packs. Let you take over on that one so you can show them there.
Yeah, so you can find this at transferexpress.com. They have a names and numbers section right here at the top, and we just clicked on the number section to get down into our number packs. And the individual number pack in a pack at Transfer Express contains 5 digits. And if you wanted to get a multicolor look, you can scroll down and they have their Champ font available in 2 color. If you wanted to go a slightly less expensive way and still get a multicolor look, You can also use a font with a gap outline to where you have your white or your black, a gap between it, and then another layer of the same color outside of it to where your jersey color is going to be showing through. One of the nice things about the Transfer Express numbering system is that there is the same amount of space around each digit, so you can actually place it but the paper together,
Right.
and your spacing is already done for you,
Right.
so there's a lot less guesswork. when
And it can
comes
be
to that.
scary when you don't actually see the number because you've got a paper background, but you know you trust the fact that they're already pre-aligned and the same gap outline, or at least the extra space around the number, takes that fear away for you.
Yeah.
So another cost-effective way to do multicolor, and even or just single color at times, so depending on what your customers are looking for. Not one that I personally would do as a contact sport because it is ink, it is plastisol
right.
ink, so it's not going to be as durable as your thermofilm type of number.
Okay. So one of the, whether you all know it or not, Stahls actually has a decorating facility that does a lot of work for the upper level pro licensees. So decorating for the NFL. You've probably seen our promo video of decorating at the NFL draft and a couple other of the pro leagues.
Right.
One of the biggest challenges that we find in our decorating facility when it comes to team uniforms for these leagues is after it gets through the system, making sure everything ships to the right player or is separated by player if we're shipping maybe to one particular location and parents want their order already separated. So we try and do the work for them
Correct.
rather than shipping it in and letting them try and sort through all of it. So do you have any tips for how you do that better? Because
keep it all
it's
together.
really time consuming.
Yeah, because there's a good chance that not only did they buy a personalized jersey, but they also got a hat, they got socks, they got,
Right.
I don't know if they wear stirrups anymore, they'll come back, but yeah, they're around. Anyway, all the different type of, and maybe there's a sports bag or something came with
Yeah,
it. There's
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole nine could be there. You'd be offering a whole package, which is a great way to go, by the way. Don't just say, yeah, we do T-shirts with numbers on them. You know, really delve into everything that you can offer them, get the add-on sales. But my mind, I would start when I used to do that. I would create an order form, and so each order, each child, each person, each player, check marks or check boxes for whether they got what the color of the jersey was, what their name is, what their number is, what size the jersey is. So these are all points of reference. So you're at the heat press, you're making sure that you've got the right jersey, that you've got the right number, you've got the right name, et cetera. And maybe there's socks. Did they get socks? Yes or no? So that should follow the order from start to finish in my mind. So as they buy it, that same type of order, something similar, should follow it all the way until it's time to pack in a box. And at that point, I used to put them in a little clear bag, and they'd know exactly who they were because I could see their kid's name on the back of it.
So the prep work there is really, really important, making sure we understand whose order is what and all of that stuff.
Correct.
And typically, we've heard this from a lot of our customers, people would use historically a paper form to do all that.
Right.
But there are solutions out there now that are designed specifically to collect and process really team sports orders on the front end to where it's more organized. And understanding that is one of the biggest challenges of our customers. Stahls has a solution.
Of course we do.
Of course we do.
That's what we do.
Not only did we come up with CAD cut material, we invented that. We give you the die cuts, we give you the best way to lay it out, and a bunch of other options as well. We manufacture the material. Now we're giving you the way to process orders. And that solution is called Spirit Sale. I want to show it to you here on the screen just very quickly, and this is just a sneak peek at what is coming from Stahls for you to be able to pop up an online store for your customers to take orders from their parents and players. So this is just a complete demo shop that we made up. The nice thing about Spirit Sale is that it utilizes both the Stahls Transfer Express and the Stahls Artwork Uploader and Designer, so you have access to templates. You can also upload your own artwork. You create your website, populate your products, and I'll just scroll down. We populated a few products in here, and what it does, you upload or connect your payment processing solution that you currently use, and you can take orders for whatever it is that you want to sell to them. So we have integrated the solution with Sanmar to where Sanmar's products are available for you to design on top of. But you can also, if you have another preferred supplier, you can upload your own supplied artwork or garments that you want to be selling there and put designs on top of it. And then we won't get into all of the features, but if you want to learn more about the Spirit Sale solution, which is just a subscription base that's available to Stahls customers, I think we're still in the what they were calling the VIP launch, but the main launch to our whole customer base is coming very soon. If you're interested in that product, call in and speak to your sales rep. And they'll be able to demo it for you. We can give you a demo of the solution actually beginning today to where you can see the whole back end and how it works. So if you're interested in that, we encourage you to call in and speak to your sales rep about that.
And within that, just as a little bit of a sneak into that, that same paper form that I described, it's built into the Spiritware,
Right.
or Spirit Sale,
Yep.
so that you can actually see and know where it is, your order is at any given time, what's been completed, what step they're in, what stage, and it comes right out to the end, so you know that you're going to decorate each one properly and deliver on time.
Yeah, and if you're selling into multiple leagues or multiple organizations, you can pop up as many stores as you want.
Correct.
And if they all close at the same time, you can actually pull together your orders to cut on the same materials, and there's just a ton of tools that are available to you in there. So again, we'd encourage you to talk to your sales rep.
Yep.
Now, you are going to apply a shirt.
Yep, finally.
While you're on your way over to do that, we want to answer a question that came in a little bit earlier in the show. Evelyn, who will be coming to Orlando to
Hey.
see you, Bob,
Yay.
says, I have a race car driver. What can I put the team in? They are just starting, low budget. What do you think? Race car driver team. I'm assuming performance wear?
I would think.
Yeah, I would think.
I mean, race car drivers populate their shirts with, they look like a walking billboard when
Yeah.
it comes to all the sponsors and everything that are on there. So as far as the question was what fabric, what apparel?
They're low budget. Like, what should she think about offering? I'm thinking Sport Tech from Sanmar
Makes sense.
as far as performance wear
Yep.
goes.
Maybe a long sleeve tee, something like that in the performance wear.
Yeah, and then I would look at CAD prints, or
Correct.
if you have your own print cut machine, the Sublistop material, because typically, at least like you said, what we see with race car drivers is they want their sponsors and full color logos put pretty much all over.
Correct.
All over that
Yeah,
shirt.
they look like my suitcase that traveled all over the world with the decals all over them.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So Sport Tech with a CAD print Sublistop, or if you have your own print cut machine, order in the Sublistop rolled goods.
yep.
All right.
Okay, so we are doing the very basic of, and this may be where you're getting started, especially if you're brand new to the heat printing industry. Maybe you do want to cut your teeth on that lower end. I'm not saying it's a bad place to be, because it's the most business there is are on these lower end rec leagues, little leagues, etc. We're going to pretend this is just a simple black T-shirt. We're going to pretend like this is like, say, a basketball, because that's what's really coming up next after the football is the basketball. So there's a whole lot of rec leagues out there. They do want to look pretty good, but you don't want to break the bank. So what we've done. This happens to be Premium Plus. So like Premium Plus, again, because of the soft hand, low temp application. This cotton T-shirt, really not that big a deal as far, but it does apply nicely onto cotton. So I have actually pre-pressed this already. We'll make sure, because I don't want to break anybody's rules. Lock this down for a few seconds. And we'll pick it up. Like that?
Yeah. Now you're on the right side,
I'm on the right side.
literally.
So as you can see, we've already loaded the shirt, taken the collar off the heat press itself. So what we don't want is some extra stuff in the way. You know, the extra seam. It's going to give us a bit of a bridge, because we want to keep this design a little bit higher, maybe just a couple inches down, because you can see where we're looking at as far as the overall size of the design. Higher is better than lower. I'm going to step in front so I can actually make sure it is straight. So we don't want anybody to say that I don't know how to do this.
Everybody can see.
Oh,
You're standing
good,
there.
good. So we're just locking this down again. 280 to 330 though is the range. I'm at 300 degrees. That sounds about perfect for this. You lock it down for 10 seconds. There are two types of Premium Plus. There is this original formula that we have here. It's the same material, just a different carrier. And this one is more of a cool peel. So it doesn't have the real high tacky carrier to do the real fine detail, but I don't have a lot of fine detail here. So this has made it a lot easier for me to weed. So you're looking into sports, bigger numbers, bigger letters, things like that. The standard Premium Plus makes sense. Now, if I do a lot of detail, I would probably want the high-tack version. And the high-tack version gives you the ability to peel hot. So that I can take this right off here. But at that time that I just wasted talking to you there, I'm probably able to peel this, because it's more of a cool peel. The other option is just take it and toss it off to the side till you get the whole team done and then peel them off at the end. But I think we'll be able to lift this one off of here next. Yeah, we're good to go. And we do say that every time we say it's a cold peel, it's usually a cool peel. Everybody pushes the limits. You'll learn how long it takes to, how much time you have to wait. And this would be the same as a player perfect type of scenario where the name was pre-cut with the number underneath of it. It happens to be a team name. So great look. In just a matter of 10, 15 seconds, we've got it pressed to the jersey. And that's all I got. Do you have any more questions?
We got scolded for recommending polyester to wear at the track because it's a fire hazard, which is understandable.
I got you.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
Because I would have never thought of that. I don't go to the racetrack.
With you.
Appreciate that. All right, so
no polyester at the racetrack.
right. So we have covered the different levels of leagues, right? We've covered where to get blanks, or at least some recommendations. We've covered what material to use on those particular blanks, and then how to produce, where to place, and some resources on, if you forget that and didn't write it all down, where to get that information.
Stahls.com. We got it all.
Yeah, Stahls.com. You can use the search bar, or you can actually, once this is posted to Facebook, you can go back and, as we said, scan your phone on the QR code that we have on the screen, and you can pick up all of that info. So, that being said, we ran a little long, but I feel like hopefully it was good information.
We had a lot of information to cover.
Yeah. All right, so thanks for joining us, and I repeat, if you're interested in spirit sale, call your sales rep.
It's worth it.
We'll see you next time. Thanks.
See you.